Real talk
Real solutions with Pam.
and Shay. Let's spill that tea. Okay. So, have you ever felt like you just ignored the warning signs in life, in a relationship, or just anything? Just felt like maybe you were crossing the street but ignoring the stop signs. Just crossing the street and just totally acting like the stop signs weren't there. You were just disregarding the warning signs that you saw for for some reason. Have you ever felt like that in life?
Sure, I have. I felt like that a lot of times in my life, especially when I was going through relationships.
I have too.
Right.
I have too. I definitely felt like I was just in the relationship ignoring signs that were big as day, just right there in my face, just right there.
Right there in your
But
face.
because I may have wanted that relationship or just maybe even sometimes was okay with just settling,
Okay.
I just ignored the warning signs, ignored them. And then in the end, it caused me so much just wasted time, trauma, you know, just even sometimes wondering, like, did I even know my worth?
Oh,
Because
yes.
I felt like if I knew my worth, how did I just ignore the signs? Why would I just ignore the signs?
Right.
Why didn't I pay attention when they were right there in front of me?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I care more about that person than I did myself?
Right.
Because the only person that was happy in it was the other person.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And those warning signs they can be hurtful.
They can be.
But they can be convincing too. And they can come into your life in a way that can take you to a place of wanting to change some of the things that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then also too, it can remind you of who you are. And then, you're saying to yourself, how did I get here? Your life can go in a big circle.
Mm-hmm.
It can go around and around and around. And you think that's a warning sign too?
I definitely think that's a warning sign.
Yes, it's going in a circle for a reason. It's asking you to do something.
Something different.
Something different.
To change something.
Mm-hmm.
To start paying attention. To start, focusing more on yourself and caring more about yourself than you do that relationship, But I also believe that warning signs can be seen and unseen.
Ooh.
Because you do have some warning signs that are warning signs because it's just not there. What you're needing is just not there. And that is a warning sign too. That's a warning sign that that person just isn't willing to give that to you.
Right.
Or they can't give that to you. Because a lot of times it's not even necessarily maybe that the person doesn't want to give it to you. Sometimes it's just about the person only being able to love you as much as they know how.
As much as they know how.
And that love at that moment just may not be enough love for you. The amount of love that they have to give or that they know how to give just may not be enough or just may not be what you need in that moment of your life.
Right.
It just may not be. But we got to pay attention to them because warning signs is the warning before something else happens, before it gets worse or before, or just before it just continues. Those signs can be the signs that tell you like, this is only going to get worse.
Oh, yeah.
This is not going to get better for me. This is not going to get better for us.
Right.
This is just going to get worse. A lot of things start off so small and end up so big.
So big.
You got to start how you want to finish. You have to start how you want to finish. And if you start off by letting those things go and just feeling like, oh, it'll get better when we get in a relationship. Oh, it'll get better when we get married. Oh, it'll get better if I stop nagging. If I stop doing this, it'll get better. Mm-hmm. It doesn't get better.
It doesn't.
It does not get better. And especially when you have those warning signs where you actually do take out the time to talk to the person about it.
You do.
You talk to them about it. And there are times where you can talk to a person about something and they do change. Oh, I didn't know I was doing that. I'll work on that. Mm-hmm. And you do, you see a difference, because that person wants to change. But if that warning sign is there and you've even taken out the time to talk to that person and communicate with that person about that.
Yes.
And they still don't change, or they change for a week and they go back right to it, and now becomes a pattern.
They don't stay the same for long.
Then you got to pay attention to that warning sign.
Right.
You have to pay attention to that warning sign, because if you don't pay attention to that warning sign, it only gets worse, and you're not hurting yourself. I mean, you're not hurting them. You're hurting yourself.
Right.
Because they're getting everything they need out of it. They're getting what they need out of the relationship.
Right.
But you're not. You're just stuck in a relationship that you're basically just a lot of times giving your all or giving more of you, and you're not getting what you need from them.
Right.
Because you're just ignoring the warning signs.
Right. So when I was out there dating and those warning signs was there, I tell you, those warning signs taught me one thing. They taught me how to go in accepting and not expecting. And that was hard for me at sometimes, because you don't really know what you want until you take time out for yourself to understand who you are and what it is you want from someone. But now, when you talk about warning signs, you're talking about those red flags. You're talking about the things that come into your life to break you. You're talking about those things you should kick rocks to. But you know what? It's really big, because it has placed you in a way of not loving yourself. It's made you feel less than a person. It's giving you nothing in return. And guess what? You're worth more than that. And you have to always remember, you deserve to be loved. So when it's not there, you know what you have to do? You have to take time out for yourself. You have to take time out to understand who you are, where you're going, how you're going to get there. And then how important is that man really to you if he doesn't treat you the way you want to be treated? So you have to take time out to treat yourself better. And you have to give yourself that space, that time to grow. And yes, it can get lonely at times. You can feel so sad. You can feel alone. But you know what? It's worth every minute of it, because it takes you to a better space in life, and it makes you know that until you stop and pay attention to those warning signs, your life is only going to keep going in a circle, and you're going to keep dealing with the same man over and over and over again. You've got to want more for yourself. And then how you experience that, you take time out for yourself. And then when you have children, you have work, you have so many things, other things that are so important. You have to get yourself adjusted to all those things all over again. And sometimes you just can't do it all. That's the way I was when I was dating and growing up. I found out I couldn't actually date and then take care of my child, because somebody was going to get left out, and it wasn't going to be my child. So I had to learn that, in growing up. So what are some of the things that the warning signs changed in your life?
I mean, it's just kind of like what we're saying. It just changed. Are you asking like how they changed? Please elaborate on that.
Okay, so I'm asking you, when you start paying attention to the warning signs, what did it do as far as making you a better person? How did you channel yourself through that?
I mean, I feel like it made me a better person in the ways of helping me know what I wanted out of a relationship. It helped me understand what I did and didn't want, what I would and wouldn't accept.
Okay.
What was enough for me, what I could and couldn't handle.
Okay.
And once I started paying attention to the warning signs, it helped me to remove myself early.
Ooh.
It helped me to remove myself from that situation early.
Yes, indeed.
Before I ended up with a broken heart, before I ended up taking a 3-piece set luggage into the next relationship. It helped me to be able to figure out what I needed out of a relationship, what I wanted out of a mate.
Okay.
It helped me know, like, this ain't what I want. Can't do this. Next relationship, once I see this, I'm gone. I can't do it. This just is not for me. So I feel like warning signs are so important because they help They help you understand what you want out of a relationship, out of life. They help you to understand what is important to you in a relationship, what
Okay.
you need to be okay in
Okay.
your relationship.
Right.
But we have to get to a point where we pay attention to them.
Right.
We have to, we all go through our times where we ignore them.
Mm-hmm.
We do, we go through our times where we ignore them. We go through our times where we make excuses for them. We make excuses for the warning signs. Oh, it's only like that because he lost his job. Or, oh, it's only like that because, she's going through something with her kids. Oh, it's only like that because of this or that.
Mm-hmm.
But in all actuality, that's just who that person is. Let's just be real. You've talked to that person. You've asked that person to change, to work on that for you. You've told that person what you do and don't like, but they continue to do what they want. They continue to play with your heart. They continue to play in your face. They continue to just do what they want to do.
They're doing what they want to do all the time.
What they want to do all the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And we have to pay attention to that. But then you also have to pay attention to the times where the warning signs are there and you see it. But guess what?
You don't pay attention.
You don't pay attention, but you don't pay attention also because they brought home those flowers. So now you done forgot all about what he did last night, what she did last night. You done forgot all about it.
That's that same
a lot of times they know. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They know.
Exactly.
But they know you. So they know what they can and can't get away with. They know what they can and can't do. They know your triggers. They know the things that, will make you forget about it. Bringing home those flowers. So now they done brought home them flowers. So now you done totally forgot how he didn't come home last night. So now every time he do something and you walk past them flowers, or every time she do something and you smell that cologne on you, you totally done forgot about all the warning signs, all the things that were done for them to buy those flowers, for them to buy that cologne. You totally done forgot about it. And they know that. And that's why it's called playing in your face, because they're playing in your face.
They're playing
doing
in
exactly
your face.
what they feel like they need to do to keep you right where they want you at.
They are.
And so then you forget about all those warning signs that have been there, because they know exactly what to do to make your day, to make you forget about it, to just act like it didn't exist, to make excuses for it. But we got to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that, because you could be so much happier if you just ended it when you first see it. Like when you first see those signs, you got to get strong enough to say, this is not for me. This is not working. I've talked to them. I've communicated with them about this. Ain't nothing changing. So now I have got to do what's best for me, and I got to exit.
You got to exit. Right when you see it, because you don't want to get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes as people, as women and men, we do get stuck.
We get stuck
on the wrong stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start compromising. Mm-hmm. But you're compromising in a way to make that person happy. But yes, you're not at peace with yourself. So when it's messing with your peace, you got to let it go. Because it's not worth it. Mm-hmm. You got to start realizing that, you got to start how you want to finish. And that does take you setting boundaries for yourself, mm-hmm. knowing your mate. Mm-hmm. And then you do have people that they will start out really good. Mm-hmm. They will start out fabulous, calling you every day, talking to you doing stuff with them. And then all of a sudden they change.
Boom.
That's that warning sign out there. Mm-hmm. So now it's about a conversation. Well, the conversation isn't going in the direction you want it to go. Mm-hmm. So you have to talk it through. And you have to make it make sense for you. And if it doesn't make sense for you to stay there, then you have to simply have a conversation that's about, I've got to leave. This isn't for me. I'm not the right woman for you. I'm not saying you couldn't make somebody happy, but right now I'm not that woman.
I'm not the one.
And you have to be solid. You have to be solid in the things you want.
Yes.
You have to stand still, and you have to say what you mean and mean what you say. You don't want to set patterns where you're always saying, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to go. This isn't for me, but you don't go, because that takes.
You go and then you come back.
Right.
You go and
going
then you come back
and forth, mm-hmm. back and forth.
Or you say it,
mm-hmm.
and they thinking like,
mm-hmm.
girl, you ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
We do this every week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, you bye. I see you in the morning.
Yeah.
Or
you pick up the phone after you said you're gone, and you start calling them again, mm-hmm. because you haven't quite gotten over that person.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you said it in a moment of being mad or angry or upset. But you have to be sincere about the things you say when you start, growing and growing up and you becoming a mature adult. You have to know that person is worth your time. If that person isn't worth your time, then let it go.
Let it go.
I'm not telling you to not talk it through, not to try to make it work. But when the signs are there, the warning signs, the red flags, you have to be about your life. You have to be about your business because, see, you can't get time back. And as much as you want that to work out, he just isn't the person for you, or you aren't the person for him. Not everybody you talk to is going to like you, and not everybody that talks to you is going to like you. So it's kind of like you have to sit in something. You have to sit in it. You have to let it marinate. You have to let it become real to you. And then you have to be okay with it. But okay doesn't mean that you give up. You just grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And you become a better person with your decisions, because life is about making choices.
Mm-hmm.
Your choices either make you or break you.
Yes.
And you know what we say? We women who kick rocks to the things that come in your life to break you. And we don't be sad for long. So your sadness should take you to a place of remembering, where you should be and what you should be doing.
And why you left.
Oh my God, why you left?
You gotta know that sadness and that heartache and pain is there for a reason.
It's there.
It's there to help you remember why you left.
Exactly.
It's there for you to look back and be like, I ain't going back there.
Right.
That is why you go through heartache and pain. You go through the heartache and pain so you can always have that memory of why you left. And so you can always have that memory so you can know, I don't want that no more. When I see that, I know it ain't for me.
Right.
Because I've been there. I've done that. I know where this goes. I know how this ends.
Right.
I've already been there. I already know where this ends up for me. And it ain't good.
Right. And
it's not good.
Right. And you can't be about chasing a feeling. You can't be about chasing the man or the woman that you want to have in your life, but they're just not right for you. You got to be about chasing the things that make you a better person. You got to be about the things that are going to make you grow as an individual. Life is too short to waste your time in the wrong places.
It is.
It's too short for you to be going around and around and around.
Because you be done looked up and you've been in that relationship for 10, 15 years.
And then what?
And then what? You done missed out on so many other people, so many other things, so much more you could have been doing. You've missed out on it because you've been stuck in that same relationship for 10, 15, 5 years. You look up and you like, when I got in this relationship, my daughter was 2. My daughter's 15 years old now.
Right.
And ain't nothing changed. He or she is walking around feeling great, feeling good, because they're getting what they need out of it, because they're able to do what they want to do, and the only person sacrificing is you. You're the only person sacrificing.
Right.
They're getting everything they need out the relationship.
Everything.
They're getting to come and go. They're getting to do whatever they want to do.
And
they're getting to, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
Right. Or they want to go out, but not with you. They're always telling you what they're doing, where they're going, and who they're doing it with, but they ain't asking you to be a part of that. What's that about? Really? That's definitely a warning sign. You can't be too proud to say, this isn't for me, I'm going to let it go. Because that's you being real about what you want in your life. That's you setting priorities for you. You have to prioritize your day. So you have to always be about something. So when things come in your life and those warning signs pop up, you have to say to yourself, that's not for me. I'm not wasting my time on that man or that woman, because it's going nowhere.
It's going nowhere fast.
And you're wasting your time.
And as I sit here and think, I feel like you also have to realize within those warning signs, what is it being about who that person is as a person, and it being about who that person is in that relationship with you.
Yeah, girl.
Because there's a difference. It's a difference between
spell that tea, girl.
That person being who they are and that person being who they are when they're with you.
That's it.
I'm telling you, you got to pay attention.
You got to pay attention.
You got to pay attention, because some things is just who that person is, and some things is just who that person is when they with you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You got to figure out the difference, because now it comes down to, is this just who this person's going to forever be? Or is this just which means now if you feel like that's who that person is going to forever be, you got to determine if that's something you can deal with.
If that's something you can deal with,
because that's who that person is.
Yes,
that's just who that person is. You know, and then you have to determine if that's just who this person is when they're with me.
Right.
You know, if that's just who that person is when they're with me, because that means they just not willing to do it for you.
Yeah, because there's somebody out there that they'll change.
That they will do it for, but it just ain't you.
It's just not you.
And that's what really makes it bad.
Right.
Because now you just holding on and you just standing in a relationship with somebody who really don't even want to be with you. They just with you for conveniency. They just with you for comfort. They just with you because it's okay for right now. Oh, it's cold outside. I just need somebody to cuddle with.
A booty call.
I just need somebody to be with this time of my life.
Right.
You know, this is just to Mr. Right comes along.
That's
Mrs.
it.
Right comes
That's
along.
It.
That's it. That's all it is.
That is.
So that's why you really got to pay attention to that, because that gets tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything ain't who that person is.
Right.
You got to know that. Everything just ain't who that person is.
That's right.
Some stuff is just who that person is with you.
That's it.
They did it with their ex.
And they
going to do it with the next one.
That's right.
They just decide not to do it with you because they don't want to waste their time on that. They ain't trying to go there with you.
That's
they ain't trying to get close with you like that.
Yeah.
They ain't trying to take you to meet their parents. You know, they ain't trying to, take you to those plays and those comedy shows, and because it ain't like that. We ain't like that. This is just a for now thing.
Right.
So you got to really pay attention to that, because if you don't, and then y'all in, and you look up and you like, wait a minute, he's with who? Where? He took her where? She took him where?
And what are you saying?
He did what with her? He bought her what?
And what are you saying?
And then you looking like, why not me? Why he didn't do that with me? Now you really hot. Now you really mad.
Tripping.
Now you really hot tripping. And heated.
Right.
Because you just thought it just wasn't something he does. He just don't do that. That's just not him. Right. That's just not something he does.
Right.
And now you seeing that it's just something he didn't do with you. That's why it's very important for us to learn our mates.
That's right.
You got to learn who you with. You got to learn. You got to pay attention to who you are with.
Right.
You do. You got to pay attention to it. You can't just be wanting to be in a relationship. You can't just be wanting to have somebody to lay next to at night. Tell your friends,
because you don't want to be lonely.
Because you don't want to be lonely.
You don't want to be alone.
You can be lonely and be in a relationship.
You can.
You can. If you're going to be lonely, then you might as well just be alone.
That's it. That's the bottom line to that story.
You might as well just be alone.
You might as well be alone. Mm-hmm. And what about that man who's always starting an argument, trying to get outside? So he can hang out.
Warning signs.
That's a big warning sign. Right.
You have that person that's always starting stuff, being toxic, just so they can get to do what they want to do. That's a warning sign. You can't take that like, oh, he's just upset. He needs a minute to blow off fumes. He needs a minute to calm down. No. Sometimes those are just warning signs. Those are just excuses for him to do what he want to do or her to do what she want to do. You got to pay attention to all warning signs. And like I said earlier, pay attention to the warning signs that aren't there too. Because some things that you require, that you want in a relationship, that are not there in that relationship, that is a warning sign.
And what about that disrespectful person? What about that person that's always putting you down? You can never get it right. You can never do anything good. And then he's disrespecting you in front of your friends. He's really making you feel lesser than a person.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to ask yourself, what? Why is he doing this? No, what you need to ask yourself is, why am I still here with him?
Why am I still here with him?
And take the right road.
Mm-hmm. Because they can come in all shapes and forms. Right. Warning signs is all types, but it's also about what the warning signs are for you.
Right.
Because
that's
what's
the
a
bottom
warning sign
line
for you may not be a warning sign for the next one.
That's the bottom line.
For the next woman, that may be something she's perfectly fine with.
That's it.
So that's why when you enter a relationship, you got to know what you want.
Your boundaries.
You got to know your boundaries. You got to know what you want. You got to know what you will and won't accept. Because if you don't, you won't know the warning signs when you sin, because you don't even know what you want. So you have to know what you want when you enter the relationship. Otherwise, you won't know the warning signs, and you will ignore the warning signs.
You will.
You will.
You will truly ignore those warning signs.
You will ignore them because you don't even know what you want in that relationship. So when the warning signs are right there, you don't see them. And in the beginning, when you first start dating and stuff, you aren't going to see a lot of the warning signs because you just start, for the younger, people out there who are just now starting to date, you aren't probably going to see a lot of the warning signs unless they're just like billboards, just boom, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times you won't see them when you first start dating.
Right.
But that's when you have to figure out what you want as you go along.
Right.
So that when you get in the next relationship, it'll be more clear. Then the next relationship, it'll be even more clear. And then eventually it'll be so clear that as soon as you see it, you're like, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Count
I'm
me
out.
out this round.
Mm-hmm. The warning signs and the mistakes that are made in your relationships are made to help you learn and grow. They're there to help you grow. So they're really not bad. You know, you need them there.
Right.
So that you can learn and grow and know what you want in a relationship, and you can begin to figure out what is best for you in a relationship and what works for you.
Right.
But now, once you start dating and you've been dating for a while, that's when it begins to become trauma, and that's when it begins to become you just putting up with the same thing. It becomes a pattern because you've been doing this for so long.
But you have to also be transparent. You can't be afraid to be who you are, because that's how people get to know you. And that's how people know what they can and can't do. And then that's how they know how to love you. And then if you can't be transparent and you can't be who you are and you can't stand up for who you are, then you need to step back and regroup and then take yourself out of the dating game and get yourself together and get back out there, because you have to always be who you are. If this isn't something you like, if this is something you don't agree with, if this just isn't what you do, don't do it. Don't allow somebody to place you in a position of feeling like, if I don't do this, then he'll leave me. But don't allow somebody's illusion to become your reality of who you are. See, you got to stay who you are. And the only way you can stay who you are is to know what you want and what you don't want. So that's real important, to know your priorities, to know your boundaries. And when people creep over, because sometimes they creep over those boundaries, they creep over them. They make it feel like they do it real slow. And then eventually they get to where they got you where they want you. But you don't have what you want. And it's messing with your peace all day long. So now you're having a bad day and everything else around you is having an even badder day. So you can't take those things and that make you feel bad about who you are or where you're standing in life and place them in somebody else's life. Don't do that. What you do is stand up for who you are. Believe in yourself, because you know what? If you don't put yourself out there to make somebody know that you're worth it, you won't get it in return.
You got to teach them how to love you.
You got to teach them how to love you.
Because they don't know. Everybody is different. Every relationship is different.
It's different.
So you got to take time to teach a person how to love you. But if you're taking time to teach a person how to love you and it still just remains the same, and you feel like you're saying the same thing over and over and over, now you're doing what?
Asking them to love you.
Asking them to love you. And you shouldn't ever have to ask someone to love you.
All right.
You shouldn't ever have to ask someone to love you, guys. Please always remember that. Always remember that. So we got to start crossing the street and paying attention to the stop signs. We got to start paying attention to those stop signs. We just do.
We do.
We just do.
We do.
Okay.
So we spilled that tea.
We spilled that tea. All right. Remember, guys, always remember your worth. And we will see you next Friday.
Yes. And remember, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Have a great day.